You're listening to Sensor Noise, the number one podcast on photography and monitors.
I should do there. Now I have my. You're listening to Sensor Noise on WPKG FM.
Anyway, yeah, hi.
Welcome back, everybody.
It's me. I'm Andrew. That's Arthur. Welcome back. It's a new year.
New year.
We did one of these already. It's. I can't believe January is almost already over.
I know it doesn't make any sense.
Should be illegal.
The
passage of time should be illegal. It should require my approval.
And we are recording. This may be our last episode in a free America.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. We're recording on the 20th, so we'll see. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah, I was watching. We'll get into this later, but I've been watching synth reviews of synthesizers.
Oh boy!
And there's this guy, and his whole he always complains if they have if the synth has like a genre knob. He's like, and my biggest complaint is they should have consulted me about which genres are on the genre knob. And that's like someone should have consulted me about the passage of time. That's
Yeah, they should have asked. Well, I would have given them my opinion. I don't think they would have liked it.
I would have waited. Yeah. I'm not asking to be consulted on everything, but I have a few things that check in with me first. Things of that nature.
Exactly.
Anyway, news. What's this about a new Leica that's named after a Canon?
Yeah, they got a new Leica. The Leica SL3S, because I guess you can't have enough S's in your camera name.
The Leica Rebel SL3S, yeah. Mm-hmm. SL, I don't know why the Leica SLS3, it's a stereolithography printer, I guess. Yeah.
So people seem to like this thing. All the reviews that I've seen are fairly positive.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Leica. I don't know.
It's a Leica. This is $5,300 for a 24 megapixel camera.
That's correct.
And what mount is this?
I have no idea. Let's see here. Well, you see, it'll do 6K video. It's got Leica's log thing, and it looks like a traditional SLR, pretty much.
Yeah. Normal camera from Leica.
Honestly, like it looks pretty run of the mill, standard, normal.
It has a power button rather than a switch. That I don't know that I like that, but
it's got their content authenticity crap. That thing that everyone definitely wants. It's the SL lenses, is what it uses.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah, obviously,
Now there aren't. As far as I know, there aren't a ton of SL lenses. Leica has their own, of course, but other than that, I don't think there are that many. So I'm guessing people use this with like a, some converter, something like that.
Right.
Especially considering the 100 to 400. Let's see how much does the Leica 100 to 400 millimeter lens cost? Let's see here. Like SL 100. I'm guessing. Here's my guess. I'm gonna say $7,000. Actually, it is $2,295. That is quite reasonable for Leica.
for a Leica lens.
But yeah, I don't know. People seem to like this. They've sort of capitulated and added some quote unquote professional level features. It's got HDMI out. It's got an actual CF Express. It's got UHS 2. It's got USB-C. Really seems like it's for video, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I just don't understand. Leica has like 3 different mutually incompatible camera and lens systems. Who is this for? I don't know.
I guess video people. I guess
because I get like if you buy a Leica M or a Leica Q, I sort of understand those are rangefinder types, or even a Deluxe, But the SL is just an SLR type thing.
Yeah.
So And it seems like there are much better, cheaper options out there.
Yep. And it's not even that expensive.
Medium format. Yeah.
No. It's only $5,000 from Leica. It's not even, I don't know. They're not even putting their best pricing on it.
They're not sending their best.
No, it really doesn't seem so.
Yeah.
I'd be really curious who the sensor is. Is this a Sony deal?
I would assume. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, we're obviously not huge fans of Canon, but I think I'm even less of a fan of Leica. I just don't understand it. I don't
get it at all.
Leica does not make sense to me.
Now, I will say, like, of course, there's the draw, right? Their rangefinder, like you said. Yeah. I am, of course, drawn to their classic rangefinder type things. Because how can you not be?
Weirdly not. I don't know. I just am like, I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah. I just don't, I don't know. I don't think that making normal cameras is really the type of thing they should be investing in.
Yeah. There's enough of those out there.
There's plenty. And you're not going to compete with Sony. I'm sorry. You're not.
Or Canon for that.
Or Canon or Nikon. Like, you're not going to compete. They're going to sell hundreds of these.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Because it's not even like they went with the global shutter camera or anything. That's just a regular old full frame backside illuminate sensor. It only has 779 AF points and whatnot. It's only a 5.2 million dot touchscreen LCD panel. Like, it's not even state of the art at this point. So, yeah, I don't know. The reviews are positive, but I don't get it.
Yeah.
The one thing they do call out on this camera that I think is very fun, and I wish more companies would do this. So you know how, like, all of the fast shutter speed cameras will have, like, a buffer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they'll say, like, how many frames are in the buffer. On this one, they just tell you how much the buffer is. It's 8 gigabytes.
Yeah, right.
I don't know why why doesn't everybody do that? Just tell me how big the buffer is.
Yeah.
How hard is that?
Apparently quite hard, but yeah.
Anyway, that's Leica.
Yeah.
We've also got, in other new releases, we have some stuff from DJI.
Yeah.
They continue to release more drones that kind of look like the drones they already have.
Yeah, they do that. But
this one,
they do that with their, like, they do that with their action cameras and their gimbals and their everything else too. It's just a time-honored DJI tradition.
Now, this one, I will say, draws me in. So this is the new, what do they call this one? They call this the DJI Flip.
The Flip.
And
DJI
what
Flip.
this is, effectively, is a DJI Mini with prop guards.
Interesting, yeah.
So that's pretty much what it is. And it folds up into this clever little package that looks like a little camera sitting on top of a wheel. That I kind
so this is like in between a Mini and the Neo, I guess, which I don't. Where's the Neo on their site?
They don't technically want you to buy it in the US, even though you can.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like not really for the US market. They sell it here, but it's kind of hidden.
Yeah, it's not listed in their drones. I think if I search for it, I can find DJI Neo. But yeah.
So the Flip and the Mini 3 are basically the same. They are effectively identical. They have the only difference really is the flight time and like the obstacle sensing directions. So the Mini 3 can do obstacle sensing in all directions, whereas the Flip only does forward and downward, so it can't tell like behind it. But effectively, they're the same thing. So they have pretty much the same camera in them. And I guess
it folds up into this thing that looks almost like a unicycle.
Yeah, it does. It looks exact. That's right. Yeah, like a one wheel type deal. So it stores more easily. You're not going to break the rotors, I guess. And the thing that I was watching in Kai's review, he talks about how it has quite a lot of controllerless features. So it can do a whole bunch of video stuff with no handheld controller at all. You don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can put it has a couple of buttons on it, and I guess you can put it into different modes holding it in your hand.
Yeah.
And it has, if you zoom in, it has little lights on the front to indicate what mode it's in. So if you just want it to track you, you can just hold it in your hand, push the button, and then throw it up in the air, and it will just follow you around. And you don't need a controller or anything for it. So that's kind of neat, I think.
Yeah. Now, DJI is also they've been a bit silly because because one of their drones, someone using one of their drones, smashed it into a firefighting plane at the LA wildfires.
That is correct.
And DJI's response to this was to say, we're just getting rid of the no-fly zones that were in our app.
Yeah.
Which I think is the opposite of what I would have done in that situation. Instead, they're just going you know what?
So.
You know what? Never mind. It's, So, I don't
granted,
know.
I
guess they're just
they're
well,
doing
we don't
the
want
right thing.
Yeah, I guess, but it's more okay, well, now will definitively be the pilot's fault. It's okay, but the people using these things are some of them are professionals, but many of them
most
are
of
not,
them are idiots. Yeah. It's deferring more work to the FAA is what they're doing.
Yeah. A famously well-funded and staffed operation.
Yeah, exactly. I do. I'm torn on this because, both of us are ham radio operators, and anytime radio manufacturers try to put in safeguards to stop you from doing illegal things, the community immediately finds ways to bypass that. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I can't imagine that the drone community is that different.
Right.
They just will try to get around the restrictions that you put in place.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I understand where they're coming from. It's your fault. If you're going to fly in a no-fly zone and get arrested, that's your problem. Right? We can't police everybody.
Yeah. But whatever.
I think the way that they should probably do this is have it be tiered. So if you buy a DJI Air, a Mavic Air, one of the big, they're not
one of the ones
big,
that requires,
if you buy a professional one, the top tier ones, then sure, take the no-fly zones off. But if you buy this flip, it should absolutely have no-fly zones enforced.
Yeah. It should have it should probably have altitude restrictions imposed upon it too.
Almost definitely.
Yeah.
Or do a system where, if you can prove that you have your license from the FAA and you're properly registered, okay, well, now we'll take the limiter off.
Right. Yeah.
Because these are both, the Flip and the Mini are both under 249, so you don't have to do the certification, right? I forget what the rules are exactly.
Mm-hmm. If it's less, I think it's 250 grams is that it needs to be.
So both the Mini and the Flip are under that size.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe make it so that the restrictions apply unless you prove that you have, prove that you have a license, or something.
Yeah.
I do also think some of this is on the FAA and that they've kind of forced the drone manufacturers to be the people who enforce the laws instead of actually coming up with a system to do it themselves.
Yeah. Well, and the rules are obviously pretty arbitrary.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
At least you don't have to call your local airport anymore to get flight clearance. I remember in college when we were doing drone projects, we were close enough to the local regional airport that had, at the time, I believe, 2 flights a day. And you would have to call the tower and ask them if it was okay for you to fly your drone. And tell them where you were flying and when. And then they'd have to give you approval to route the no flights that were coming into the airport around you.
Right. Well,
yeah, I'm glad you don't have to do that anymore.
Also, DJI just they're naming. They had the Osmo brand for a bit.
Yeah, that's gone.
And then
right?
no, they've brought it back now.
Okay.
Because it was like they had the DJI Osmo Action. That was their action camera. Then they had the DJI Action 2, and now it's the Osmo Action 3, 4, and 5 again.
Right.
Similarly, the Osmo Pocket 3 was the DJI Pocket 2. I don't know, like what. I don't know.
Well, and now
DJI,
the gimbals, which used to be the
Ronins,
Osmo device.
Yeah.
Now they're the DJI OM5.
Well, no, but now it's the Osmo
enough.
Mobile 6.
Oh, I see. Well, no,
Yeah.
it's not Osmo Mobile. It's OM.
See. And then you have the Ronins, which are now the RS. I don't know.
Stop.
Do they just
Stop it with this?
DJI? Please seek help.
They're worse than Sony.
Yeah.
I swear.
Well, we talked last week about the Matrice,
Matrice, yeah.
Matrice. Anyway,
Yeah.
See
what else we got. Oh, finally, this goes under the finally category. Adobe has live editing in Photoshop, like Google Docs style co-editing coming.
That's kind of amusing to me. I suppose I could see the use cases for it, but I feel like this is going to end up like Google Docs, where it's like, okay, who's typing? who's color correcting here?
What this is really is because they couldn't buy Figma, they had to do this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what it is, right? The reason they were purchasing Figma, in my estimation, is for the live collaboration, which is something they didn't have.
Right.
And
so
since that didn't work out,
right,
they got to do it themselves.
Yep.
Because despite Figma's best efforts, I think Photoshop is still the place that most people do like mock-ups and stuff for products and software.
Right.
Like, I think it is still, it's still Photoshop.
Users can express their interest in the beta now via a sign-up page. So this is
it's a
very
beta.
limited in rollout still, but yeah.
I'm assuming this will be the thing that they like. It's beta this year, and then at Adobe Max in October, they're like, okay, well, in Photoshop 2026 or whatever, it's available for everyone.
Right.
Yeah, that's probably what will happen. Still, I mean, good. It feels like this should have come out a decade ago, but here we are.
Well, it's very hard. So
it is very hard, especially. Yeah, it's very hard. Photoshop PSDs do not like to be opened by multiple people at once. They really don't like that. Turns out.
Yep. Next, we have Viltrox, one of the sort of cheap lens makers, has come out with an adapter to convert E-mount to Z-mount lenses with autofocus. And it's $99.
Yep.
It's very amusing to me because this thing is very tiny, but it has firmware which is upgradable, and they have a photo of a USB-C thing plugged into it. But it's like, it's not.
Yeah.
it's
kind of amusing. I mean, so apparently, I didn't realize this. There have been other E to Z adapters that support autofocus previously.
Mm-hmm.
There's one from Megadep, Photo Diox, Tech Art. They all have them, but they're over $200, $250, and this one's $99.
This one's $100. Yep.
If this actually does what it says it does, hey, pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good.
I'm
deal.
curious to hear if the autofocus works.
I'm sure it does.
Decently on these things. So,
I'm sure it does, because remember, like, the benefit of the new mirrorless mounts is that like most of the autofocus stuff is in the camera body itself.
Right.
So the lens doesn't have to do much anymore.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't know. I know that the camera companies all say that they do their own R&D and whatnot. I have to imagine that there's like standardized autofocus ICs that they're all buying to put in these lenses. I can't imagine they're all making custom silicon for them.
I wonder about that.
That's just my suspicion, is that like the circuitry inside of a Sony autofocus lens versus a Nikon one is not that different.
TI DRV 201 voice coil motor driver for camera autofocus.
There you go. No, I don't actually know. I'm thinking about buying one of these once they're actually available.
Mm-hmm.
What lenses would be worth putting on it?
Oh,
that we don't have.
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, there are plenty of Sony lenses, obviously.
Maybe some of the Sigma ones that we don't have anymore.
Some of the Sigma ones,
the Art series or whatever.
Yeah, probably some of the G Master lenses.
Yeah, I guess so. Right.
Yeah.
Maybe like because the Sony 85 millimeter 1.4 is quite a bit cheaper than the Nikon one.
Yeah.
Maybe they have some pancake lenses that I can put on there.
Yeah.
Since we don't have those.
FE 50 millimeter f1.2 G Master. Yeah. I don't know. There's tons of choices, so
yeah. I mean, there's a million. That's sort of Sony's whole thing.
Yeah.
You got a billion lenses. Anyway, what else we got here? Other lens news. Canon has finally capitulated, and there are actual RF third-party lenses coming out from Sigma.
That are not that are for full frame.
Oh no,
photographers.
No. No. Heavens no. These are for the crop body, and they're kind of weird. You're getting a 16 millimeter and a 23 millimeter.
Interesting.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So, yep. Good guy Canon letting you.
So they said okay, fine, but still it's only for crop sensor.
It's only for crop, and also there's only 2 of them.
Cool.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Do they realize that that's just not... I mean, people are they're gonna figure that out, you know?
Well, is the real question, is anybody buying RF cameras?
Apparently. They keep topping the list of sales and rental charts.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bit weird. I guess they're just... I don't know. You know, it's like... It's almost like they're trying to get like their patent exclusivity period, you know?
It really does feel like that, but I don't think that's going to work out for them.
Yeah. Like, good luck.
Yeah, seriously.
More stuff from CES. Godox came out with some cute little flashes.
Yeah, there's a couple of these. We talked about some flashes last time. There's a couple that I noticed that are actually kind of useful.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this one, the what do they call this? The IM20 and IM22.
Yeah.
Take a look at these. Don't
get me started on Godox's naming, but
yeah, don't worry about the names. These are very, very tiny hot shoe flashes.
Yeah, they look barely bigger than like a hot shoe, like microphone receiver type thing. Yeah.
Very, very small, and importantly, you got 440 flashes per charge time. 3-second cycle time on them, and USB-C rechargeable as well. So you don't even need to bring batteries around with you.
Yeah,
which is very nice. I probably will pick one of these up and chuck it in my camera bag because, you know, I have like my big speed light or whatever, but this is way more convenient.
Yeah, I've got one of those too, and it's, you know, it's just a bit much.
This is so much more convenient for one of these tiny little things. And there's another one, which is the IA32, which is, I think you will like the look of this one. It's definitely a more classic look for flash.
This is more of a Godox has a number of like classic looking flashes. A lot of them are pretty like real classic style, like you know, like 30s or whatever, 30s and 40s, the Lux series, where it's like a bulb surrounded by like metal reflectors. This looks more like a you know, like a 80s 90s style flash.
Yeah.
So
this one annoyingly isn't rechargeable. But it does have an auto mode, and it has an adjustable flash angle sort of in the body. It's got a little dial you can crank to change the angle.
Yeah.
But also small, cheap, much
Here's
easier
the
to carry
thing.
around.
Here's the thing. I think flash has been taken. I don't know. Not a lot of people do a lot of stuff with flash anymore, I guess.
No.
And I don't know, maybe it's just because I grew up in the 90s. I kind of like the super cooked look of a photo that just has a flash that's way too bright on it.
Yeah, I like it too. It makes it feel more candid.
Yeah, right. So, but we've been spoiled by these digital cameras that have, sensors with ISOs with 6 digits and
right.
Night mode or whatever on our phone cameras and all that. So
really, I think what it comes down to is that getting a good photo with a flash is hard. With just an on-camera flash, it's very, very difficult to do.
Yeah.
And so the trade-off between, something that's a little grainy but looks okay versus something that looks absolutely cooked, people would rather have the slightly grainy one. To do the lighting correctly, you need you get to light the whole room if you want it to look right.
Can I interest you in one of Godox's dental flashes?
I'm sorry, what?
Dental flashes for dental photography.
Oh.
Yeah. You've got one that sort of is like a thing that you put on the bottom of your camera, and then it's sort of 2 flashes at a 90-degree angle pointed towards the center. And then you've also got one that is just a ring light, to be honest with you, a ring flash. But yeah, these are for dental photography. So,
okay. Yeah. Is that a thing people are doing these days? I
guess. I don't know.
When I go to the dentist, my dentist has he's got a little camera on a stick that he uses to take pictures.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like they have the equipment for that already, but
yeah, I think
who knows?
Let's see, we've also got...
How much is this Godox, the IM20 or whatever it is?
I don't think it's out yet.
Not out yet. Oh.
I'm guessing they're cheap, though.
No, it's out yet. I'm here on Amazon.com. You may have heard of it. It's $33.90.
Okay, I'm ordering one of those.
I was going to say, for a flash, that is pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Camera compatibility warning. Godox IM20 mini manual flash is not compatible with Sony ZV-1F, A9 III, A99, A77, A350. Not compatible with Canon EOS Rebel SL3 250D T7. Not compatible with Fuji XA3, X100F, X100T. Check the camera compatibility list in the product photos before purchase to ensure proper compatibility.
I don't think I'm going to have an issue with that. I don't have any of those cameras.
Yeah. Basically, this is a single pin flash, which is actually interesting because that means that you can use it on a lot of film cameras.
Oh, yeah. You can use it on all sorts of stuff. It's very basic in its interface, which is good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm ordering one of these.
Now, is it... let's see, I'm looking to, there's the IM30, the IM20, the IM22.
So as far as I can tell, the IM20 and 22 are the same, except they have a slightly different form factor.
Yeah.
I think they're the same thing, just in a different shape.
Well, and I'm just looking here. So the IA32 is the only one that is auto, which is to say does TTL of some sort, one assumes.
And the IA32 does not have it's not rechargeable. You have to use AA's with that one.
Yeah. Okay, the IA32 actually doesn't do TTL. It is also a single pin flash. In auto mode, you can set the ISO and aperture values with the recommended shooting distance displayed on the panel. Okay, so it just helps you out a little bit, but it's not TTL. I was going to say,
it still works with film then.
Yes. But the TTL flashes, you have to buy the specific model for your camera system because of reasons. So yeah. The IA32 is $50. So
still less than my $400 speed light that I don't use.
Do I want the IM22 or the IM20?
I want the 20. I think the form factor is better.
Yeah.
Let's see. Also from CES, we have Think Tank, the bag company They finally have new versions of their roller derby and navigator airport bags that have omnidirectional wheels. Finally.
Did they not have that before?
Nope.
We've had this technology for some time now. But,
no, previously the think tank bags were all the regular wheels.
Oh God, I hate that.
And so they've updated them. Now they got the proper roller wheels.
Very good. Yes.
So
these are nice. They're not cheap, but I guess that's luggage.
No, they're not cheap, but they do keep your stuff safe, and people swear by them.
Yeah.
The only reason I don't have a think tank bag right now is because when I needed to buy one of them, they were all completely out of stock. So I have
that does happen.
What do I have? What's the other brand that's like think tank but cheaper?
Mindshift.
No, not them.
No. Peak doesn't know.
No, it's not. It's not Low Pro. It's one of those though.
Oh yeah.
They're all the same company,
right?
But
I have the. Do I have the Streetwalker or the Streetwalker Pro? I have one of those. I forget which exact one it is, but it's a backpack that I can absolutely stuff full of cameras for like photo walks. I've fit like 4 cameras in there before. And
jeez.
Yeah, and everyone looks at me like I'm crazy, which is, an understandable and appropriate reaction. But yeah. I've kind of quit doing that because I've realized that I just don't switch between, like, it's too much of a headache to switch between cameras that much. But
yeah, that's fair. Think Tank definitely has the cornered the market on like the biggest backpacks you can get.
Yes.
You can get backpacks from them that fit an unbelievable amount of stuff in them.
Mm-hmm.
Like the First Light 46 liter. Let's see, they've got 2 cameras plus 2 zoom lenses plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 additional lenses in that one. They got a 50 liter version for hiking.
Jeez.
Yeah. Classically, the Think Tank, the brain bag, right? That was the big one that people would get to carry 2 17-inch laptops in.
Yes, that was the Tom Bin, right?
Oh, the Tom Bin, right?
The Bin brain bag. Yeah. Which I have a brain bag actually from. Yeah.
Think Tank also sells.
When I worked at GM, the laptop that they issued us was so big that it would basically only fit in a brain bag. So, and I still have that backpack because it's a Tom Bin, which means that it's very high quality.
Yeah, right.
The only Tom Bin I've ever had to replace is one that my dear sweet dog Mabel chewed the straps off of.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah. So.
The thing from Think Tank that I will get eventually, once I get my hands on one of those massive lenses that I am lusting after,
right.
The Think Tank glass limo.
People in glass limos.
They sell a narrow, long backpack that fits up to a 600 millimeter f4 in it.
Okay.
And
glass limo.
It like has special straps to keep the big lens centered in there and straight.
Oh my. Yeah, look at that.
That's about
quite yeah, they've got like a Nikon. Yeah, this is here you go. It's a Z9 with the 400
Z9 with a 400-2.8. Perfect.
And it takes up the entire backpack.
Yeah, that's what it's for. It's for one giant lens.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got a Sony here with the what is this? The 200 to 600 G Master optically stabilized. And then also the 700 to 200. Yet more. If you love white lenses, Sony or Canon, those are your guys.
They're the place for you.
Yeah.
All right. We've also got something that you might be interested in. Nanlite, another one of these. I'm
familiar with Nanlite. Yeah.
Chinese drop shipping light companies. They now have fold flat soft boxes.
Interesting. Because most soft boxes are very annoying to put together.
Yeah,
I would say.
So take a look at these. They go flat.
Fastest open and close. Oh yeah, huh?
Yeah, and they're fairly cheap. $200 for a decent looking softbox. They've got a couple of different sizes, but they fold flat for travel, which seems pretty good. If you ask me.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I saw these and I thought these would be kind of useful.
I never really. This is like, I don't know. Maybe they teach you this in art school, but like the different softbox like shapes and angles, I don't really, it's like whatever.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like I don't know which one I'm supposed to need. I just need light that is soft to be in a general place. So.
It just changes the focus, right? How much it gets dispersed, so, yeah. I think is what it does.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like you certainly can get like super technical about the lighting, obviously, but you don't have to,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've messed with some of Nanlight's products. They have their 60C continuous lights are pretty neat. You can get a whole what do they call it? Fresnel lens thing, and then like projector, so you can put little patterns in it and all that.
And they've also got their like Forza series, flashes that go with the soft boxes.
Yeah, although I would say, if I am to, I'll stake my claim here right now. The Aperture company with its Amaran lights, I like their stuff because it's good quality. It's not like super cheap, but it's still pretty inexpensive, and they're just nice. So I have some of their continuous lights, and they're quite good. They have a new they came out with a new mini light recently, the Ace 25X. I think I had it when you were visiting. It's a bicolor LED. It has a big old magnet, so you can just like stick it to something metal.
Interesting.
Or it has like a hot shoe mount. It's USB-C rechargeable. Yeah, it's pretty good. Comes with a little magnetic, what is it, like, a diffuser panel that you can put on it and all that. So
that's neat.
And then for, we'll get to it, but for my video adventure, rented an Amaran light for that. So, yeah.
There's one last thing in the CES category. Have a click on this link here.
Okay, what are we doing here? Well, oh, yes, I saw this. So Belkin has come out with a product that is basically, what if you turned your telephone into a Ricoh GR3 in terms of the grip, basically?
Yeah.
And it even adds a little shutter button sort of thing.
Here's the thing. I don't think that shutter button actually works. I cannot find any confirmation online that it does anything.
That is fascinating.
So what this is a MagSafe,
right?
Maybe that's the power button for the power bank.
That would be so stupid.
So what this is a magnetic, like MagSafe power brick that sticks to the back of your phone and gives it a grip that looks like it has a camera shutter button, but I don't believe that camera shutter button actually shutters the camera. So this is something that Belkin thought was a good idea to make.
Belkin's Power Grip has announced the Stage Power Grip, a magnetic battery pack that doubles as a DSLR-style ergonomic grip for iPhone photography, a phone stand, and a spare wired charger for your other devices.
Right.
The Verge says the Power Grip is an odd-looking accessory until you see it attached to a phone. It features Bluetooth pairing to enable the shutter button on the top of the grip to let you take pictures with the iOS
I'm guessing then you
app.
have to use Belkin's app.
Maybe, or I don't know.
I don't think there's an API to make a shutter button for the camera app.
Yeah. But so it's a MagSafe power bank, but it also has a separate retractable USB-C cable.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Now that part I don't have any problem with. I think that's a good idea.
Well, see, I was looking for like just at USB-C chargers on Amazon the other day, and I did come across one that had a retractable USB-C, and it was from a reputable manufacturer of these things. I forget which one. I'm trying to find it again as I say this. Yeah, it was like one of these like desktop chargers, with a bunch of USB-Cs, but one of them was just a retractable one that you could pull out, which was interesting. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Anchor has a retractable car charger with a USB-C. There are a lot more of these than I imagined there would have been. This is fascinating.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, one other thing
here. Just reading here, HP put wood on its new desktop PCs.
Cool.
They're going after the fractal to the north.
Clearly. Hello, Mabel. All right. Well, let's see here. We've got an update for Monitor Watch 2K26.
Yes.
We've talked about that 6K monitor from Asus. And it will be $12.99 apparently.
Okay, how does that compare to the? How does that compare to the? Well, I guess the Pro Display XDR is the 6K one. Yeah.
Yeah. So the only competitor is the Dell one is a competitor, and that one I think is $3,500. So
okay, that's too much. Yeah.
More than this. And now let's see here. If I wanted to get a Pro Display XDR that comes with a stand, which I know is, it's optional, a luxury here. That is $5,998.
Okay, so that's actually pretty good for a 6K display. Yeah. Now, I think that the prices of those monitors are still like in like, are you crazy land? But yeah.
I think so. Here's the thing. I am reasonably certain that this display, this Asus ProArt PA32QCV, is the same display panel that the XDR has. I'm pretty sure it's exactly the same one. So,
you think like Apple had exclusivity that's now ended?
No, I don't think Apple had exclusivity. I think just nobody bought them.
Oh, okay. I could see that Apple would have
Dell
said,
did, I guess, right? Dell had them.
Yeah.
Except we know that the Dell panel is different because it actually has slightly more pixels than the XDR does. It's more. It's like 61 something instead of 6016. It's a little bigger.
It is amusing to me that that's like 6K resolution, 216 PPI, which is good, but not that good compared to some other screens. You can get higher pixel density in smaller screens, but I guess that's good for what it is.
Not with the quality though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So we're getting this full 30-bit color. It's got everything that you need, the same as the XDR.
Now, are you going to be able to get the little? Are you going to be able to get the little
the flip colorimeter thing?
No, the little like sun visor for it to put around it.
Probably.
Okay.
So
that's what tells everyone that you're a true professional.
So the video that I linked here from Linus Tech Tips, there's two monitors apparently. The second one I didn't know about. There's an 8K 32-inch coming as well.
Okay.
In the ProArt series that comes with the little hood and the little flip color calibrator thingy.
The world's first 8K mini LED HDR professional monitor. Well,
so this 8K this 8K monitor though is the only actual competitor to the XDR that I've seen.
Yeah.
Because it has the mini LED backlight and the the color calibration and everything. This one is actually an XDR competitor and will be priced accordingly. I bet this costs more than the XDR. However, it's 8K and not 6K. So clearly the price of 6K has dropped under $2,000.
Yeah.
Now we're at 8K for those high-end displays. So Apple really should be doing an 8K Pro Display XDR is sort of what I'm getting at here. Maybe they will. Who knows?
Maybe so, yeah.
But even then, I have to say this $12.99 for the 6K monitor, that is less than I paid for my studio display. I will be happy to purchase one of these in Q2, supposedly when it's coming out. So that will join my arsenal here. No HDR though. That's the one thing I wish it did have.
Oh,
it seems to be. I mean, it has display HDR 600, which means not HDR.
Oh, yeah, right.
But
legally distinct from HDR. Yeah.
It seems that HDR at these higher resolutions is not really something that's. I mean, it seems like it's not possible because nobody does it.
Yeah.
Except for Apple and this 8K one.
It'll be some time for that to trickle down, I guess.
Because you need mini LED to do it right now because you can't do OLED at this pixel density yet.
And I've only got macro LED, so you know.
Yeah, I know, right? One big one.
Just my monitor's LED made up of individual 5mm LEDs.
See, hey, Samsung, I know you love your crazy LED marketing terms, QLED, QNED, whatever the hell. Just call it
QLED.
Your traditional LED backlit TVs, you can start calling those mega LED.
Mega.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
People will buy them.
Do you remember when edge lit LEDs were like they tried to make edge lit LEDs a big thing, and it's like that's not actually good.
I do.
That's not any better from, the cold cathode fluorescent lamps you guys were using before. Displays are monitors, displays, TVs, etc. It's just ripe for all sorts of shenanigans. You know? I think this is the one thing we can say is that the amount of shenanigans has been increasing, for the past several decades, and it just is only going to continue to increase.
Well, yeah, because ever since we got LCDs, that's kind of been it.
Yeah.
I mean, OLED or micro LED. Is it micro that's the next one?
Micro LED, yes, I think so.
Those are the only actually new display technologies that we have.
Yeah.
And those can't do all the things that LCDs yet can.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of in this period, I guess the early 2000s where CRT was still the best, but LCD was starting to be good.
Right.
We're still kind of there.
So mini LED just means a normal LED that's quite small. Yeah. Whereas micro LED is a specific, made on a microscopic scale.
Right. But now here's what I don't understand. Not in the
same manner as a conventional LED.
The thing I don't understand is what... So, okay, they say with OLED, right? With OLED, every pixel is its own individual LED.
Yeah.
Isn't that micro LED as well? Isn't that the same idea?
Yes. I believe that will be the case.
What's the difference?
Non-organic versus organic, I guess.
And by organic, they mean carbon?
Yes. So
they're not going to use carbon in the...
Yeah. So
I don't know about that one. I think they're going to use carbon.
Well, we're getting a little... we're getting way into the weeds here. Not even a little into the weeds, but way into the lead. Yeah, so organic LEDs, OLEDs, use organic compounds in their semiconductor matrix.
Sure.
A micro LED uses typically, I guess it is or at least at this time, it's a indium gallium nitride chemistry. So it does not use any organic components, and yeah, I guess you. And
so is the benefit that is it just lifespan? Is that really the?
I'm going to assume so. Yeah, because OLED, has the issues with burn-in and all of that. Right. I gather that is, the inorganic nature of micro LEDs gives them a longer lifetime advantage over OLEDs and allows them to display brighter images with minimal risk of screen burn-in. That said, I think we've there, we've developed ways to manage screen burn-in with OLED displays that I don't know that
it's not really
big of
I don't know.
issue.
It doesn't seem like a problem anymore.
Yeah.
I don't notice, like, my iPhone has had an OLED screen for years, and I don't know. I don't see any burn-in on my phone.
Yeah.
Same for my Apple Watch, which has been OLED since the beginning and displays the time all the time. Surely it should have burned in by now, but it doesn't.
Now, I did have an OLED that had burn-in, and that was a little thing that I was running on an Arduino. And so it did know. It literally ran a clock 24/7. And so, like, where the colon was burnt in because, it would have been. And also, some cheap DIY OLED display, too. It's not a fancy new kind. So, yeah.
I will say that the other interesting technology for displays that's starting to happen is micro LED, or no, mini LED. Sorry, not micro. So the mini LED backlights for traditional LCDs, where the backlight is RGB instead of white or blue. Mm-hmm. So apparently you get much better color reproduction that way, because you can control like the specific light colors that are getting emitted from specific regions. That's pretty interesting as well. Well, of course, all of these are only on the like $50,000 TVs right now. We got to wait a while before they filter down to other products.
Well, and I'm LCDs. It's just like my own thing that like I like at work as an engineer, I'm concerned about efficiency and all that. And LCDs are very inefficient in that
extremely,
by the nature of how they work, half of the light that the backlight produces to go through the LCD does not make it through because they're polarized. And it's just like,
I think OLED has a similar problem, if I'm not mistaken. It still also has a polarizer layer.
Does it?
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah.
So you're also losing light on OLED, which is why the QD OLEDs are better, I guess, because then you're only emitting blue and you're changing the color with the QD layer. But yeah, still, all of them are lossy. LCD is particularly lossy.
Yeah. It's weird stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Stay tuned as we continue to cover this tangentially related area.
Yeah. The latest news in display technologies. Oh, why did I lose you? Technology is stupid.
We love it, don't we?
Yeah.
Anyway. So in America, it's a bad time to be a social media platform. TikTok was banned for approximately 12 hours over the weekend. Mark Zuckerberg has become a right-wing lunatic, as if he wasn't one already.
Watch that video, and it made me so mad.
Yeah. He just kind of took the mask off, I think. I mean, he's always been a sort of insane libertarian character, but now I guess he's saying it more loudly.
Right.
So the teenagers are very mad. So mad, in fact, that instead of going... So when TikTok was about to be banned, instead of going back to Meta platforms, they went to Xiaohongshu, which is a Chinese Instagram that is fully owned by China and fully censored by the Chinese government, and also was only available in Mandarin. Yeah. So, yeah, people don't like Meta anymore, at all. And
well, it's worth noting that Meta is named after a project they tried that failed, and they haven't. They haven't renamed themselves yet.
No,
I know we're. I don't think. I mean, we obviously record the podcast in Meta Horizons.
We, of course,
with our Meta Quest 3S headphone. Did you? Side note: did you see on TikTok just before Christmas there were some sponsored content for the Quest headsets?
Of course, I did.
Because it was you can always tell because it was like, oh, my wife is playing XYZ game on her Meta Quest 3S right now, and it's like no one who owns one would call it that. You don't, because you don't say like, oh, my wife is playing on her Apple iPhone 16 Pro right now. You just say,
and also
she's on her iPhone.
And also, no, she's not.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Nobody's using that.
I have a Meta Quest 2. Do you want to know where it is right now?
Do you know where it is right now?
I do, because it's up on the shelf in the closet next to me.
Yeah.
And it's been there for over a year. Yeah.
The Meta Quest is a device that people buy their kids for Christmas, and they play Beat Saber for about 2 hours and then never use it again.
I can confirm, because this is exactly what we did with my
that's pretty much
brother.
what it's for.
Yeah.
Because the people who are actually into VR, the furries love VR for VR chat and whatnot.
Yeah.
They're not using a Meta Quest.
No. Yeah.
They're spending quite a bit more.
Right, yeah.
Or even then, they're using the Quest Pros, and they're hooking it up to their PCs and using, other peripherals and whatnot.
Right.
Nobody's using these devices day to day.
I just can't believe that he tried to go fully into the VR thing, and yeah.
He has no ideas anymore.
And it's still called Meta Platforms.
Right.
Because
that's because he has no ideas. I mean,
yeah.
That's Anyway, this is not about Zuckerberg. This is not about Zuckerberg. This is about so what do we do now, right? Instagram, it's clear, is going to become more and more right wing as time goes on, and less of a place for
Instagram has been annoying for a long time anyway. Ever since they started. Extremely. Ever since they made the feed non-chronological, and then they made it so that it was like paginated, so that like you get to the bottom and then you have to say like, oh, show me more of my own feed instead of just suggested stuff, and then just stuffing suggested and sponsored posts everywhere, and the ads on Instagram are so bad.
Yeah, so like in theory, the reason that I go to Instagram is to see what my friends are doing.
To see what they've taken photos of.
I don't think I can see that on Instagram anymore.
No, let me open up Instagram.com.
Like I don't think I'm seeing things my friends are doing on Instagram.
Instagram.com, by the way, a platform that still does not have a native iPad application.
No. And I don't think they ever will, because they don't care.
Yeah.
I'm my problem now, the actual reason I'm stuck on Instagram and can't just delete the app from my phone entirely is because some people do message me there still. So it's basically just a messaging platform now. Yeah. And I know that you're supposed to be able to use Facebook Messenger app to get to Instagram chats, but I don't think you actually can.
Yeah, and also no
that works. And also that app is terrible.
Yeah.
So
okay. So we've got a couple of pictures here. Where does it oh, there we go. You're all caught up, and then now it's suggested posts, which are,
I don't even get that you're all caught up anymore.
Oh no?
No, I don't get that anymore at all. So
well.
Yeah, I can't even see what my friends are doing if I wanted to. So the question is now, like, what do we do? Like, where do people go? And there seems to be a pretty big movement towards PixelFed, which is an app that it's been around a while, a couple years.
Yeah, it's been around a number of years.
But they didn't have a native mobile app that was generally available until like last week. So PixelFed is Mastodon, sort of. It's an ActivityPub based app, and it's basically just what if Instagram but Mastodon.
Engage in private conversations, filters. Yeah, so this is basically this is basically ActivityPub but with a focus on photos, and then added client side stuff like filters and albums and things. So
it's pretty nice. It is Instagram, like it pretty much is. I think.
Are you on this?
Yeah, I have a PixelFed account. But the thing is, PixelFed, because it is ActivityPub, you don't actually have to have a PixelFed account to follow people's PixelFed accounts. If you have Mastodon, you can just use your Mastodon client and follow people. You don't actually need to use the PixelFed app.
I'm sorry, I'm too busy joining spicy.social, your fine art erotica community with a focus on implied nudity.
Implied nudity.
Implied, yeah.
Oh boy. So that's one of those weird Reddit places then, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Out of Denmark, this server is. So,
yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Like I'm looking here. Let's see. Can I follow my Mastodon account from PixelFed? I think I can. And conversely, you can follow the other way. So yeah, I totally can. I can just go and follow my Mastodon account from PixelFed.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason that I think it's interesting to bring this kind of thing up is, one, that it's federated, and two, that it shows a different sort of vision for how these platforms should work.
Mm-hmm.
And just yesterday, actually, Blue Sky did something like this. So Blue Sky added to the client, if you go on there, there's a new feed you can follow. That's TikTok. And it behaves like TikTok.
Huh.
But it's just a Blue Sky feed, right? With some client side spice, basically. And PixelFed, I think, is basically the same thing. It's this idea of like, okay, you have a social media platform, you have a protocol, right? You have AT protocol, you have ActivityPub.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of taking your stuff and putting it into like, okay, this is the app for photos, you basically build an alternative view into the app that shows your photos in a nicer way.
Yeah.
But it's all the same app.
Yeah. Separately, there is someone who's building an app called Flashes for Blue Sky that will be like a PixelFed, but for Blue Sky, in that it is more of the Instagram style of scrolling. But yeah, I kind of just think that like Blue Sky could build that into their app, that you'd have like an image feed kind of thing or whatever. And
I think they should.
Yeah.
Like, I think that this is probably the right direction to move for these kinds of things, rather than centralizing, into these big services. You say like, okay, I have my identity. I have on Blue Sky, you have your DID, distributed identity thing. On Mastodon, you have your, I don't know what ActivityPub calls it, but you have your ID that you can move around.
Right.
And then if you want a photo focused experience, get a client that's based on photos and just use the same account you already have. I think this will be more successful than like Glass, which we've talked about in the past.
Yeah.
I know Glass is still around and they seem to be, they're still kicking, obviously.
Glass's reach is naturally limited by the fact that it requires a paid subscription.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, it would be nice to say, okay, I'm going to get, all my friends, I'm going to get them to move to something. They're not going to move to Glass because there's no way I can get them to pay for it. I could get them to move to PixelFed, maybe, but the sign up process is very weird still.
Yeah.
Blue Sky is probably the best bet, I guess. But even then, it's still like, I still have friends on Twitter for some reason. I don't know how to get them to leave.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, I think there's a obvious answer here, which is we're all going back to Hipstamatic.
That did come back like last year, didn't it?
Yeah.
I think they came back.
Yeah. Hipstamatic, sort of the original Instagram.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All of these platforms just have such a they have such a grip on people.
Yeah.
Especially Instagram. I really don't know how to get people to move.
I don't know. I think it's just like a sunk cost thing where it's like, you know how to use the app. You've developed a following. I think that's going to be a lot of things, is it, for folks who have developed a significant following of, thousands, tens of thousands, or even more people, how can you possibly convince them to go somewhere else? And because it's not, it'd have to be like a coordinated move, really.
Right. Yep.
So
definitely.
Yeah.
I will say also that even Instagram isn't really for photography anymore.
No, that's
I don't know if you've looked at your feed recently.
It's for influencers. Yeah.
Well, they changed the grid.
Oh, did they?
Your profile grid is now rectangles instead of squares because video.
Yeah.
So like they've ruined everyone's grids now.
Yeah.
So it's not even for that anymore. Like what?
Yeah.
What's the point of this app now? I really don't understand. They're trying to be everything.
Well, and what is the benefit, of a photo focus or like a photo, focused app in this day and age? Is that truly necessary, kind of thing?
I don't know. I hope so.
Yeah.
Like I hope so, but I think people like stories, right? The stories are very popular, but could go back to Snapchat, I guess.
Yeah. Mabel has joined us. She's on my lap now.
Mabel on the mic.
Mabel. Mabel. Oh dear. Now she's instead of sitting, she's decided to lay down on me. So
there you go.
What's the matter? Mabel, do you have photography opinions? Speak to the people, Mabel. No, she's just looking out the window.
She doesn't have opinions.
No. Well, she has opinions on the people who are walking on the
naturally.
Sidewalk. So
those people are menaces, of course.
Yeah. Sick and tired of them. I am doing some upcoming video stuff for work. For work.
Okay.
Yes. We are doing some like initial testing on our production line stuff at work, and they were like, "Hey, can you get some video of this to use, for like a B-roll kind of stuff for our website and whatever?" And I was like, probably. I'm not really a video person experienced with that, but this is something that's fairly low stakes and doesn't, really require filming people or even really recording audio with the video. So and then they let me sort of rent whatever I needed. So that's coming up.
So what's your plan for that?
My plan is I rented a Nikon Z6 III because that can do 4K 120 frames per second. So I can get like slow-mo. And then I rented a like a video tripod because my tripods obviously don't have like a pan handle kind of thing because they're made for stills photography. And then what else did I rent? I rented an Aperture Amaran 60 light, which is they're tiny little like 60 watt equivalent light that can be run off of Sony NPF style batteries, so that I can sort of take it wherever I need to, because I don't know what the lighting conditions or the outlet situation will be where we're filming this. So and then what else did I rent? I rented a little like manual slider, basically. So
okay.
And then I'm just using one of my lenses, my Tamron lens, because that seems like a fine lens for this, be able to zoom in.
Right.
And whatnot. But yeah, I went and talked to some folks at the camera stores about, what should I do for this? And this seemed like a good option. I guess like conceptually, a Sony is probably better for video, but given that I am familiar with the Nikon family of products and their menus, much easier to get up and running on that. Trying to figure out Sony's menus on short notice is doesn't sound like
not
a
great.
fun thing to do. So basically going to record. I'll probably record actually a lot of the video at 6K because the Z6 III can do 6K, and that'll let me crop in to 4K if I need to.
Sure. Do you have something that can edit 6K?
I'm thinking my MacBook Pro should be able to.
That's true. Yeah, it probably can.
Yeah. So, yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Like I said, it's fairly low stakes. Probably just going to mostly be me setting up a camera, sort of a static shot and recording, but, might do some camera moves with the slider or something like that. I thought about getting renting a gimbal or something too, but decided against it just because it was like, I don't know if I'll actually make use of that. So, yeah, I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see how it turns out, I guess.
What are you going to edit with? DaVinci?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good luck. I don't have much advice. The last time I did video seriously was when I was like in high school and using iMovie. So
yeah,
I don't think I can help you with that.
Yeah, I rented like a 512 gigabyte CF Express card for the thing.
Sure.
And I was playing with the storage formats because the Z6 III can record ProRes RAW.
Mm-hmm.
With 512 gigabytes, you get like 30 minutes of recording.
Yeah,
ProRes RAW versus like 2 hours.
I don't think you need ProRes
at H.265. Yeah, no, I'm just going to record at H.265 SDR.
Yeah, I think that's probably fine.
Yeah.
I don't think ProRes is going to help you here.
No, but I was like, I wonder what. Yeah, so it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
I've not really played with the video stuff on my Nikon or any Nikon really before. So, yeah.
I haven't either. I haven't tried video on my camera. I don't have a reason to.
I do plan to bring. I have like one of the like DJI wireless mics that I'm going to bring in the event that I do need to record any audio. I'm just going to plug it into the camera. I'm not going to do like a separate recording thing. That's too much work for this. So
makes sense.
Yeah. And I brought a little, thing of headphones to plug into the camera too, to do monitoring for that. So yeah, it's,
good luck.
Kind of minimum viable. It does have me looking at the Z6 III now, because it is a nice camera,
that is how they get you, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, and I love the ZF. I love the dials.
Yeah.
But it's a classic camera with classic camera ergonomics.
Yeah.
For better.
Definitely not for video.
Yeah. And the Z6 III is just, the grip on it is, huge by comparison, much nicer to hold and all that. So, yeah.
Somebody should tell Sony about camera grips. Just let them know that, those are a thing that you can have.
Well, it's funny because if you like, especially their video focused cameras, like the FX30 and FX3 are just bricks basically. Yeah. So,
which is probably correct for video focused.
I guess so. Yeah. It's like, oh, you're meant to put this in a cage or whatever kind of thing. But yeah.
But for their, you got to have a grip on your photo camera. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Sony Alpha 1. I got to look and remind myself. Yeah. I mean, there is a little bit of one, isn't there?
Right.
But it's not, compared to how big the Nikon or Canon ones stick out, Yeah.
Yeah.
You can have something to hold on to,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll report back about that.
Let us know how it goes. I'm curious. Video is something I have no experience with.
I've always had some of the stuff, I guess, because I've always thought, what if I did video instead of just podcasting? And I have correctly ascertained each time that would be too much work. So, but it remains like a point of curiosity for me, I guess. So, yeah. What else are we up to? It's a little bit fallow days for photography because it's so cold here. So
it's cold. It's not that cold here. I guess I can't really complain, but none of the foliage is out or anything. All the trees are kind of in their dormant period. There aren't really flowers or anything.
Yeah. It's a single digit number of Fahrenheit degrees here today. So,
oh dear.
Yeah.
It's 63 here. So,
okay.
Can't really complain that much.
That is approximately 60 degrees more than it is here. Yeah.
I've been tinkering with smart home stuff. That's what I've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got some of these Home Assistant voice beta preview thingies.
I also got some of them.
Those are pretty cool.
Remarkably good. Yes.
Yeah. It's kind of astounding. Do you have yours hooked up to an LLM, or are you just using the local thing?
I do, yes.
So I'm using Gemini Flash for mine.
They respond quickly, and they also understand things better than like a Siri.
Yeah,
would.
It's kind of astounding how much better it is than Siri or even Google Assistant.
Yeah,
and how much faster as well, considering that the device itself is an ESP32.
Yeah,
it's like so underpowered, and it's like instant.
Because folks who have used these know that, like, for like a Siri or a Google Voice or whatever, you have to be fairly precise in what you're saying, you know, what you're commanding. Like, if you say, oh, turn the lights off, it doesn't necessarily intuit that you mean turn the lights off in whatever room that it's in. Or, you have to say, like, I know instead of saying, like, turn the lights on, I have to say, like, set living room to bright or whatever, so that it uses the right, scene or whatever.
Right.
And because of the LLMs, it can figure out what you mean.
Yes.
A lot better.
Which just makes me wonder, like, what Apple, listen, if some open source guys can figure out how to do this, come on. What do you can't just pipe Siri into a basic LLM and get like 10x better outputs from it just by doing that?
Yeah. Now, one thing I have done, so I'm running Home Assistant now for most of my stuff. And my car, my EV Polestar, for whatever reason, Polestar has decided that there is not a need for their app to notify you when the car is finished charging. That's just not functionality it has. That's incredibly annoying to me because I'm really good at forgetting that my car is plugged in at work.
The Volvo one similarly does not have that either.
Yeah, but it turns out some open source guy has written an integration for the Polestar app for Home Assistant. And so you can plug that in, and then you can, you can set up, in my case, I've set up some automation so that when it gets to the done charging state, it sends me a push notification on the iOS app. And then also with absolutely no configuration on my end, I can say, hey, Dingus, what's my battery at? And it will say your Polestar car, a battery is at, like 68%.
It's pretty
and
good.
It just knows that. I don't even have to specify, what is my Polestar battery's charge level? I just say, like, what's my battery? And that's the only, it can reason because that's the only battery
in the system
capacity in the system, So it's like, oh yeah, your Polestar 2 battery charge level is 96%.
Okay, so, Nabu, what's my car's battery charge level? 78%. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah. Works. I've had more trouble with the car one in particular because for whatever reason, okay, you and I, you have a Polestar 2, I have a Volvo XC40. They're the same vehicle.
Yeah.
Like they're the same, but all of the APIs and such are different.
Right.
And so I have, so Volvo has over time. So at one point, the Home Assistant integration was working, and then it stopped working for like a year, and now I guess it's working again. Couldn't tell you why. It just, for a while, the Volvo Connected Cars API didn't work in the US.
Yeah, well,
it did before, and then it didn't, and now it does again. So now it works. I can also lock and unlock the car from Home Assistant, which is great because it's actually quite a bit faster to do that through Home Assistant than it is to use their stupid app.
Oh, yeah. I meant to. I don't know if I can do that with the Polestar.
Because in mine, in the Volvo one, the app has to, before the app will show you any controls, it has to like do a full query and get all of the status of the car.
Yeah, no, it does to do that in the Polestar app too. Yeah.
Whereas in Home Assistant, I can just send the API request to unlock the vehicle, regardless of the status.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just works like immediately instead of having to do all that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've got that all hooked up here.
Yeah.
And yeah, Home Assistant, very good. If you want home automation that works, this is the place.
I've been very impressed with Home Assistant in that how much of it just works these days. Because I did try and use it a number of years ago, and it was a lot more kind of slapdash, but it has gotten really solid. It's you can certainly still dive into it and, get all developer-y with it, but you can also just like honestly, like my dad could probably sort this out pretty easily.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And you don't have to dig real deep down if you don't want to. But if you do, you can do some pretty crazy things with it.
But if you're thinking like, oh, I wonder if there's a Home Assistant integration for this device that I have. There is.
Yeah, the answer is almost certainly there is.
Yeah. There is. It works with everything. I have not found a single smart home device that doesn't work.
It won't work with my EV charger because they don't have an API for that.
Well, that's
because they're stupid. And honestly, I might just get a different EV charger because of that.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, we don't support that and we're not going to.
My EV charger just doesn't have internet.
Yeah. I mean, that's also an option.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
So it appears that the Polestar API integration is purely informational, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And that it does not appear that there is support for sending things.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, because I'd love to, like you say, lock and unlock it and all that kind of stuff. But yeah. No, I have a coworker who has a pretty insane Home Assistant setup for his house. Whatever. Like it'll detect when the dishwasher is complete, and then it.
Now, how does he do that? Because I want to do that. Power sensing. Okay. Because I want to do that for the washing machine and the.
I want to. Yeah, I want to do that for the dryer. Yeah. So what he has is it'll detect when the dishwasher is complete, and then it will send. Basically, there's like a round robin of who in the house's turn it is to unload the dishes, and it'll send that person a message saying, you got to unload the dishes now, basically. And then it just, will automatically switch next time the dishwasher gets run or whatever.
All right, that's funny.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I'm also enjoying the energy stuff. Because I have it logged in. It can log into my electricity provider AEP in this case and pull my daily usage.
I've got that too. It logs into PG&E for me, and then I can see. You can track individual devices, which is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say like if you have some smart switches that can do energy monitoring, you can see how much those devices are pulling. Out of your total, which is pretty neat.
Do you also have the Power Calc integration?
Power Calc.
My coworker told me about this. Power Calc estimates the power consumption for devices like lights, fans, and smart speakers that don't have built-in power meters.
Oh.
But it will estimate them. So like all my Hue devices, it can estimate their power usage when they're on because it knows for each Hue device, like what is it rated for, like wattage wise. And then how long is it on and things like that.
Power Calc.
Power Calc.
Yeah, I see that now. I will give that a shot. But I do have my solar in here, so I can see how much of my a few days later, because PG&E, if you're on the EV rate plan, you're not allowed to have access to real-time data if you're on the EV rate plan.
Right. Why would you?
You have to go to one of their ones that they charge you quite a bit more, and then you can have the real-time data. Otherwise, no, you're not allowed to. So I can't have real-time. It's delayed a few days.
Yeah.
But I can see how much I'm offsetting with my solar, which is, that's pretty nice.
Well, one thing I did with PowerCalc too is you can also, it will basically do, if you have something that reports its wattage usage, you can have it do the integration to get the kilowatt hour.
See, I was just doing
usage.
that with a regular.
You can, yeah.
Yeah, you don't need the integration for that. You can just do that with a regular helper.
But I did that for the Polestar because the Polestar will report its charging power, but not its charging energy. But charging power, charging power is just, or charging energy is just charging power times time. So easy.
That's a good point. I'll do that for the Volvo too because it's the same. I think I get the same statistics you do.
Yes. So I can see that my charge yesterday used up 146 kilowatt hours.
I can see my coolant level as well. So
okay, very nice. I can see my torque.
Yeah.
490 newton meters. You know what's great is that it shows it on a graph too. And would you be surprised that it's a straight line?
I can also see my battery capacity.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's...
I wonder... I haven't had this installed long enough to know if that's actually updates or if it just always says the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It says 82
it's saying
kilowatt hours for mine, which is the rated capacity.
I've got 77.812. It's very specific.
Yeah, I'd be curious because you can... Yeah, so you'd have to see like over a year...
Yeah, does it change?
What is the trend? Does it change, or is it just getting like a hard coded value kind of thing? That'd be interesting though.
It does give me like distance to service and stuff, time to service. Tells me my whether my headlights are okay. I've got like in this thing. I have so many indicators in Home Assistant now. So I have indicators for all of the windows, whether they're open or closed. I have indicators for if the washer fluid level's okay, all of the turn signal lights, the charging lid, the sunroof, the tailgate, all of the exterior indicator lights, the oil level, because I have oil, fog lights, high beam statuses, hood open or closed. Do you also get pictures of your car? I get those.
No, I don't.
It just gives me like...
You get way more data, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I get all sorts of this stuff. So
yeah.
And my average energy consumption over time.
I might have to look at the Polestar API project and see if there's just like stuff that they haven't pulled out yet.
Yeah, there might be. Or if there's another, is there like an unofficial integration that has more?
Oh, there is a car image.
I've got car images from all angles. I've got exterior back driver, exterior front driver.
It appears that there is a car image, and it just, I don't know if it isn't populating it for Home Assistant. Well, I don't know. Yeah, that's curious. Interesting. Anyway.
Well, that's what we're doing. It's fun.
Yeah.
Home. It turns out that if you have a reliable platform for home automation, it's actually good and fun to do.
Yeah.
So if you're one of the people that's still only using HomeKit, give something else a try.
Alexa or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're using any of those as your primary thing, have a look at Home Assistant.
Home Assistant, they are not using your data to train stuff because there's not really a way that they could do that.
Nope. You have to run
I guess if you were using Home Assistant Cloud, but even then.
No, but even then, it doesn't have... The cloud provides limited features.
Right.
You still have to run something locally to be your coordinator.
Yeah. Also, I think Home Assistant handles like having, multiple people who can control the home a lot better than like HomeKit or Google Home or whatever.
Way better. So. And there's plugins that let you provide granular permissions and stuff. Like I've set up... I have a guest experience that you can set up in Home Assistant. Oh. That's like if you're on the home network but not logged in,
right?
What do you get? And so I have just a basic page set up that lets people like control the lights.
Yeah, it has a view of the thermostat, but it doesn't let them change it. It's called
they can change. You can change the thermostat. You could do that.
Yeah.
But this is for like if somebody's coming to
you go to raise the temperature and it pops up a little notification when it says, "You think we're made of money?"
It's for the dog sitter, right? You know, if somebody coming to take care of the house, they need to be able to turn the lights on and off and adjust things.
Speaking of dog sitter.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Mabel has decided that the podcast should end now. So
okay. All right, Mabel.
All righty. Well, thank you for listening to whatever this was.
It was Sensor. We talked about photos.
It was Sensor Noise.
We talked
almost
about
certainly
hobbies.
an episode of the Sensor Noise podcast. So
stay safe.
We'll be back in 2-ish weeks with more stuff, whatever that may be.
Certainly will.
Adios.